Hey guys, it's Luke here and welcome back to another video. And as you can see, the M3 is back. It's all fixed, all sorted and ready for some more miles. I've literally just picked the car up from Regal Autosport where the car was for all the rectification work. As you may remember, Max from EJ Transport recovered the car from my flat over to Regal for them to basically find out what the problem was. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go back in time very slightly to when I arrived at Regal to pick this car up. I can explain to you exactly what happened and how Regal resolved it. But yeah, ultimately the car is back. Thankfully, it didn't cost me too much after essentially breaking down on me outside my flat and being abandoned for about a week. So yeah, we'll head back to Regal where I picked this car up a little earlier on today and then we'll go from there. Here we are then, back at Regal, normally actually where the Golf R comes for regular maintenance and so on and so forth, but the M3 is back. It's been off the road now for, I'd probably say about 2 weeks now. I have missed this car, as aggravating as it is, and I'll be honest, it looks like it has been sat for about 2 weeks as well, just with how dirty and grimy it is. But yeah, I've missed it. It's been, well, obviously it's been the car I've used every single day for the last year and a bit. So for not using it for 2 weeks has been a little weird. I do have some explaining to do about the problem that it had. God, this thing does need a clean. Look at this. Don't hate me too much in the comments. But the first thing I'm gonna do is get that V8 roaring again. I've not heard a cold start on this in a little while, although I've got some PTSD from that bonging noise. There we go, back to life. Right, let's pop the bonnet, because if you guys did see the last video on this car about basically where it broke down on me, it was stuck outside my flat for a while, about a week. Basically one morning, came out, went to go start it to go to work, and it just wouldn't start. You've all seen the video hopefully about that. Plenty of power there, cranking, but no ignition, and it wasn't firing. Weirdly, it did actually fire. Had a little cold start like what's going on now, but it did just cut out after about a minute of idling. Having then got to the diagnostics, had a little look to see what it could be, we determined that it was something to do with the DME or the ECU, which is situated underneath this panel. In fact, a few layers down in like a watertight box. Now, my diagnostics, which I did, where I basically took the scuttle off, opened up the box where the ECU/DME sits and had a look, was actually quite accurate, dare I say it, because what we found was essentially water within the DME. And at this point, you know, I'm stressing out, does the car need a new ECU? Is it completely beyond repair? Or is it a quick and easy fix? And luckily, it was the latter. It was just a quick and easy fix. I think, to be honest, by the time the car got here to Regal, of course, it was recovered here, transported here by Max at EJ Transport. A big thank you once again to him. And the guys had a look at it. And to be honest, by then, any moisture which was in the ECU box had kind of gone in that sense. You know, it's been quite hot, I guess. It kind of just evaporated. But the main reason for the water actually getting in there was due to the drains. Let me explain. These drains just down here on either side of the scuttle panel, I'm sure if you can see that very well down in there, were essentially completely blocked on this car. Of course, the one sitting on the near side is the one that would affect the ECU. Due to this car getting a lot of use, sitting outside every night and also sitting under a tree outside my flat, naturally these did block quite heavily. And I didn't realise, and it only came to the point where they were blocked enough to then let moisture into the DME box, where it was basically just stagnant water completely filling this area that, yeah, I guess the moisture just got through. And whilst I did get some of the stagnant water out by kind of unblocking it as much as I could, this drain literally goes right the way down to the bottom of the car. So being completely blocked, I mean, as you can see, overlaid on this, when the guys here from Regal were actually properly clearing it out, even after I had cleared what I could see was quite a lot of it, you can still see the water getting backed up almost straight away when you pour water on it. So basically every time it rained, that water was pretty much immediately blocking that drain. And if I'm honest, when this car did break down, we did have an awful lot of rain. So that is basically what we think. So yeah, essentially what the guys have done down here at Regal is properly cleared out these scuttle drains, which I know is such a silly little thing. To think that this was a quick and easy fix is well, I'm glad about it, but I'm also a little bit annoyed that it was something this minor, something which I could have stopped by maybe checking the drains or just keeping on top of it, or maybe just driving the car a little less and keeping it in covered storage. But these drains were completely flushed through. I mean, as you can see on screen now, the water just flows through there perfectly. And so my goal now is to keep up on that, make sure that the drains are completely unblocked for the foreseeable, because I don't want this happening again. Bit of a silly little situation really, an annoying one, but I'm glad that it's been fixed. And again, a big thank you to the guys from Regal for fitting the car in their busy schedule, and also Matt from EJ Transport for recovering the car from my flat down here for it to be fixed. Now, as I said, I missed this car. It's probably up to temperature now, so I'm gonna hop in and go for a drive. Back to the driver's seat. And actually, we are literally knocking on the door of 90,000 miles. I'm just gonna shut the valves actually, make a sensible departure. Yeah, 89,801 miles. Oh, it's good to have this thing back. I have actually been daily driving the A45S for the last week or so, which has been lovely. It's a great car and arguably a much better daily than this, but this, in my eyes, is my daily. So it felt weird driving the A45 for a little while. Anyway, say goodbye to Chris from Regal. Back on the road in this car. And as I mentioned actually in the video where this thing broke down, it's been driving so well ever since the massive overhaul from Swift Performance of basically all the suspension components underneath it and full service, everything. It has been driving very, very well, or it was until it then decided to, big hole, brake. But yeah, thanks to everyone involved, it is now back on the road, ready for some more miles, and hopefully I'll be able to get, well, I will get to 90,000 miles very soon. The M3 is back. Yeah, it is. Such a silly car. It really is. Such a silly car. Hopefully we can get a good few thousand out of it before it decides to have another hiccup. To be honest, I say that naturally whilst the car was at Regal. I did get them to do a bit of a health check. And yes, there are some advisories on that health check. So yeah, I mean, there is still more to do on the car. Nothing major, little power steering fluid leak, little, slightly substantial. Do need to get that looked at fairly soon, but I'm choosing to ignore it for the time being. I love this car. I love it. Oh, it's when I drive it that I forget how much it costs to flip and run, which I think is a good thing that I forget, because yeah, it's something you don't really want to think about for too long. But yeah, ultimately, quick little video today, collecting the car from Regal. Yeah, oh, hang on. A big thank you to everyone. As I mentioned, Regal, Max from EJ Transport for getting the car back up and running for me nice and quick, and sorting all the recovery and everything. All their details can be found down below. But for me today, that is it. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have, please make sure you leave a like and make sure you're subscribed for all the adventures still to come. You probably didn't hear me at the end of that, to be fair.